Test, test, test. Gotta see what's going on here. Something is not right here. Where's my webcam? The hell? Oh, there it is. I don't know why that's... Hold on. I need to remove one of these. Uh-oh, what is going on here? Sorry, folks, technical difficulties. Can't seem to get my... Can't seem to get my, stuff working here. What is going on? Let's try this one. Let's see. Nope, it's not working. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. Starting in a bit. Need to figure out why this camera isn't doing what it's supposed to do. Let's try. Ah, there we go. I think I got it. There we go. Okay. Let's try this out. Need to remove one of these. Hold on. Let me see if this is gonna work or not. All right, we're gonna try this out. Let's see. It doesn't seem like it's working. Let's try webcam only. It's not working either. Test, test, test. There we go. I think it's working now. All right. So sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I don't know what was happening over there with the with the stuff, but I think we are good to go. I think we've got everything working now. If you're in chat, let me know. But I think it's working now. I'm gonna go ahead and get to straight to the screen and get started with our weekly prep. So, a lot of you, it's been a minute since I've come back here, but still, some really good updates that we've got this night, and then we're gonna take a look at the week, of course. But a couple of updates here. Let's go look at the charts first and do the prep part, so that for those of you that want to hear about the updates, otherwise I'll stay on towards the end. But let's take a look at the charts here. So this week we have core CPI on Wednesday. So that's going to be the key factor, which is going to determine the low or high of the week this week. PPI of Thursday could be a reversal, could be continuation, but those 2 days are going to be where a lot of the action happens, right? So we're going to keep an eye on those, and this week everything that happens this week is going to set up for those, is how we're going to frame our week. So if we see us traveling higher during the week, expect that we'll probably either continue going higher for Wednesday, or maybe we'll reverse Wednesday. So we're looking for a Wednesday reversal. Wednesday lower high of the week, maybe Thursday low high of the week, this particular week. So keep that in mind. It's where a lot of this price action is going to, we probably won't see massive moves in the first part of the week. Maybe Monday, because it's a CPI Wednesday though. So Monday should be pretty good trading because we have that CPI. Tuesday in the afternoon and Tuesday and Wednesday morning, be careful trading. Okay, so let's take a look over at the charts and see what we got going for this week. So let's start actually with the weekly profile. So we see here that our weekly profile, you can see this is the old monthly level. We haven't reached back down into that yet, but the last time we reached here, we bounced up super quick, but we failed to get to something called a weekly sell side imbalance up here. So that's something that I'm going to be taking a look at closely. We see that it reached up there, remained open, so we can consider this to be a weekly breakaway gap. Will it return back to here? Yes, at some point it will. But because of this type of nature, we can see that this bearish order block on the weekly chart got traded to and then immediately rejected. Following that, we had 2 down closed candles. So each time we had a down closed candle, price traded up higher and then traded lower, ended up from the low. Price traded, started, opened here, traded higher, traded lower, ended up here. So I'm thinking that this particular week we end up trading and targeting lower still, but we could trade higher first. But the thing is I want to see, and this is rough guesstimate here, I want to see us target this level here, this 17,870 17,870 level. So this is this tails consequent encroachment, and I think that we could head higher, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, touch upon here, maybe down in this area. If we are bullish, then we will continue, but if not, I would venture to say that this completes a sell side imbalance here, and then the week of FOMC takes us up and then maybe drags us down into these relative equal lows. Hey, Dipchi Bao, good to see you too. Long time. It's been a while. How have you been? Let me know how you've been. How's your trading been? Hope you've been well, brother. I have a few updates that will help talk through what has happened. I had a couple of things happen during life that caused me to need to step away for a little bit. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's finish our weekly preparations for now. So from a weekly perspective, I expect that we will continue. Look at, like, we failed to reach this high. So I expect that a draw on liquidity could be this 50% mark. Now, look at over here as well. So if I take a look at the weekly chart, we have weekly volume imbalances here and here. This gray one's a daily one, which we'll go down to next, but this is what I'm expecting. So we take one of these lines, put it roughly here, let's make it a dashed line so we know. This is what I'm expecting from a draw, okay? For the week. I think we can head down that area, so I'm going to keep that down there and remove that fib, and let's go down to the daily chart. So same chart here on the daily chart. Dip G Pow, I'm being real good, man. How are you? I'm doing great, man. Jay Whitway, what's up? What's up? Good to see you, brother. Dude, I bet Jay Whitway, you're a sell side trader, so I bet these past couple of days has been tremendous for you, man. What a wonderful setup down there, all the way down back to this volume imbalance, and which also happens to be an old new week opening gap. So I'll touch upon that in a moment. I've been leveraging that theory quite a bit. So This is the same chart just on the daily. We can see those same weekly lows there, that weekly midpoint of the tail. And we can see that we have, we've had in this volume imbalance, we've had price trade up and prices traded down as well. So any movement up into this area, these buy side imbalances have been balanced already all the way through. So what I'm thinking on the daily chart is if we trade higher the first part of this week, we could trade as high as this previous new week opening gap. Potentially, let me see if this shows up on the 1 minute chart. It actually does. So there's this new week opening gap high, right? It happened about 4 or 5 weeks ago. This is the tail end of that, and we traded down to that new week opening gap, filling that volume imbalance. So any movement inside this range means that it is a balanced price range. Within these gray lines, that's a balanced price range. Jay Whitway, great days, bro. Yeah, absolutely. Dip Chibao says, great to see you, Jay Whitway, as well. Awesome. It's always glad to see folks connect here. So, and from a weekly perspective, if we want price to continue lower, which we see that there's clearly a draw here, we can see that there's a daily imbalance, volume imbalance that we have not balanced the sell side yet. So what do we see? We see a higher time frame, previous monthly level that we bounced off of, but we failed to head higher to the weekly. So I'm seeing that we potentially could trade down to that level, down to this volume imbalance, down to this 50% weekly level, right? Ultimately, we have potentially this low here. Now, I don't consider this to be relative equal low, but it is one thing to take a look at too. So this tail here from 8/5/2024, we can do the same thing that we did for the weekly chart and outline and swing grade what that chart's discount PD array looks like. Now, you can clearly see that this price ended up trading immediately to that sell side midpoint and then continued higher for quite some time, right? A few days. So the key here is we can trade down to this weekly level as a draw. We can trade down to this 50% level as a draw. However, if we do not take out this short-term low here, and we trade maybe down to here just before this 50% mark, that is going to signal to me that we have potentially room to reverse and take out all of these relative equal highs up here. So that is something that I'm formulating in my mind as potentially could happen, because everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, it's you know, stuff is inverted. There's a price cut, Fed rate cut coming in. So there's things that support both sides of the market from a FUD perspective, fear, unrest, and doubt. So I am becoming less and less confident in my bias until the 18th, which is when the FOMC statement is. So mark that on your calendar. September 18th is going to be really important. Jay Whitway, you too, brother. Hope the price action has been good to you. Awesome. So I see this as a failure to reach this weekly level and then us continuing lower to look for discount PD arrays. Now, what do we have here on the daily? This has already been taken out by this area. So I'm expecting to see, does price stay within this range? So you're going to want to keep this part on your charts. And then, of course, when we think about the weekly perspective, what might be below us from there? Well, there's this rejection block that's kind of like here. And then, of course, these relative equal lows. It's not a great relative equal low, so I'd prefer it bouncing around this level and then continuing higher. But the market structure, this leads me to believe that this is now turned into a balanced price range. So it's going to be tough. I mean, yes, there's liquidity outstanding up here, and FOMC with a rate cut could certainly take us to new heights. But until we see evidence of that, until we see like a strong hold around here, I would be thinking that we can head lower midweek, maybe head up a bit, up into this fair value gap high, and then maybe this, if you can see this other gray line that we have here, this is an old new week opening gap, so I think we could head all the way up into the 18,600 level potentially as well. Okay. So back on the daily chart, we see this daily sell side, or this daily volume imbalance here. Robert Mathers, oh dude, I'm missing some chats here. Jonathan Sung, it goes up, goes down. People try to have sex with their positions and hold forever, do no research, then go on social media and try to make the others as panicked as they are. It's coping mechanism. Is that what's happening, Jonathan? That's pretty rough, yeah. But that's not us, you know. We are looking at the market, seeing where is the higher time frame draw and using that as bias, and that's what I'm doing. Robert Matthews, long time no see. Great to see you, brother. How have you been, Robert? It's great to see you here, man. Always glad to have you here. Jay Whitway, I agree. So only looking for 25 handle moves this week unless I see something meaningful. Yes, exactly. I'll actually go through a trade that I made during Asia session, which was outlined in one of ICT's 2024 early lessons. So we'll walk through that. It was a live trade on a live account. So I'll walk you through that afterwards. It was on my AMP Futures cash account, so straight up live cash. We'll talk through that at the end of this though. So I'm thinking we traded up currently, and you can kind of see where this opening range gap. This is a 1 minute time chart here, so you can kind of see here we opened here, new week opening gap. I'll run through the trade later, but we failed. We took out a couple of key things here to head higher first. We haven't traded to the lower portion of this new week opening gap, so I anticipate that this is going to be a draw. This open area is going to be a draw from, let me see if I can outline it a little bit. So from here to here, this portion is for sure going to be a draw. So keep in mind that any movement up, you're looking, does this reach this old new week opening gap high and then displace massively lower? Does this reach higher for maybe this new week opening gap and then immediately rebalance lower? Does this reach for this volume imbalance, rebalance it, treat that as a balanced price range, and then immediately head lower, right? Or this is a weekly buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency low. So this is now a balanced price range. So does it trade to that BISI low and then immediately reject and head lower? That's kind of what I'm framing in my head, but it could trade higher. Yes, absolutely. It absolutely could trade higher into this balanced price range as well on the daily chart. But I think it's unlikely. We saw institutional order flow entry drill here, and we haven't taken out the external range liquidity sitting around here. So on the daily chart, this actually could be considered relative equal lows. So keep that in mind. Since you can make a case for both sides, you have to be very nimble, you know, 10, 20 handles tops, okay? Or 25. You could probably take more. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Like, stay nimble. If you have 2 contracts or 3 contracts, always take one off at the lowest hanging fruit. And I'll show you an example of that from this earlier Asia session, okay? Robert Mathers doing pretty good. I'm actually in a long position right now as we speak off the new week opening gap. Consequent encroachment, dude, that is a fantastic one. I wish I was set up to take that long, but I was trying to settle a long. But yeah, I love that long. I think it's a great long. I think that we've got room up to this 18,495 on NASDAQ, and maybe the consequent encroachment there, 18,500 level. And then, of course, those relative equal highs up at 18,530 as well. I think that there's definitely room for us to head up that way. So great long, Robert. Robert Mathers, I saw you start a new cash account. Did you finally take the plunge with AMP? Yes, and we're going to talk through that and talk through the benefits and cons of that. So let's finish up our daily higher time frame review for this week. So we know where those PD arrays can be. So there's a daily one here, that 50% mark. This is a weekly 50% mark, so we could pass through that, head down to here. We want to see, if we're bullish, we want to see price wick here and then wick upwards. If we don't see that, if we start to see closes below, then there's a good chance we will aim to take out these relative equal lows, even though it's not a particularly powerful relative equal low. I would be more inclined to look for longs if this holds here. We'll see. But I think that we hold longs there because FOMC is happening. So I would expect for us to stay within this range. You can kind of see it constricting, right? Constricting, potentially. CPI can color out the outside lines. So, yeah, just that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this area. It's where my eyes are drawn to. Could it head higher and head all the way back up to here? Yeah, absolutely. It could head up to this. It already traded to this bearish order block and instantly rejected. So I'm thinking that within this candle here, there's this balanced price range that we could trade up to potentially as well. So I like the longs in the short term. I think we will end up heading lower though, towards that volume imbalance potentially. Let's see. So I think that's what I'm thinking for the week. I mean, I'm looking for us to go up first and then down later. I could be wrong, but that's what I start the week framing, and that's what I'm kind of looking to see. Does it do that, right? So that's going to be it for our weekly prep. We look at weekly, daily, and monthly levels. 4 hours are better as you start honing in, looking for an entry. You can kind of see your 4 hours, see where they are respecting, see are they respecting weekly levels? Are they respecting, like, do we see an institutional order flow entry? Do we see us trade up into the 50% mark of this 4 hour sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency? And that midpoint would be right around where that volume imbalance is, right around where, and the 75% mark would be right around where that weekly SIBI low is. So you see potential areas of confluence where you want to look at the lower time frames around that area, and you want to see, do we see displacement lower? So to have us work with our thesis where in a week where we are meant to expand lower, we might target higher time frame PD arrays, premium PD arrays. Robert Matthews, congrats, dude. Thank you. Robert Matthews, although now you're playing for keeps, mentality is completely different when you can't reset. Yeah, I love it. And that's actually a great transition over to our AMP Futures account. So, AMP Futures, what is that? For those of you who do not know, you have a company called AMP Futures. I'm no affiliate with them, but you can use TradingView because they have this CQG data feed that works with TradingView. You can use Rhythmic as well. There's a lot of other things. You can use Quant Tower if you like Quant Tower. Some people use Sierra Charts, Atos as well. If you're like a Forex trader. And I've heard some people use Jigsaw trading as well. Quite good. So I like it because it has integration with TradingView. So it's really nice with CQG setups. I can use TradingView, and we're gonna actually go into a trade today. Let me see. I'm missing a couple of chats here. Robert Matthews, the only reason I'm all long on Sunday is because my mouse malfunctioned while I was setting up a trade on Friday. I lost 40 handle. Oh no! Rush ordered a new mouse on Amazon. Yeah, you have to. Hopefully the pad worked, or you can like flatten all. Robert, are you using a prop firm for that? Are you using Apex, or are you using your own personal account? Hopefully I can regain my Friday loss with this trade. Yeah, like just go for half of it, right? Like just target getting half of your loss, right? And see if you can get that with half the risk, right? It's okay. I mean, be patient with it. Be like, if you can find the trades, the money will come. Like I guarantee you. Yeah. Dip Chibao, hope we can Love the price action, bro. Awesome. Yeah. Jonathan Sung, what does AMP do? Oh, Robert Matthews uses AMP. Oh, yeah, it is painful. That's okay. Focus on the next trade. That one you couldn't do anything with. It's kind of like life. It's as if a car came in and crashed through your internet when that happens, right? Nothing you can really do about that except for hope that you had a stop loss set. On to the next trade. Water under the bridge. Journal about it. Make sure you have some multiple mouses available, of course, for next time. But, you know, you can't beat yourself up over that. Journal about it. Laugh. Have a good laugh about it a year from now. But, yeah, you'll be fine, I think. So, what does AMP do? Jonathan Sung. So, AMP is a futures trading, kind of like a broker, I would say, almost like a conduit for brokers, for people who want to trade futures. They work with a bunch of different platforms in order to and data feeds in order to make the entry to trading futures from a live account a lot simpler. Okay, so you want to go to AMP Futures and just read about it, because you can see that they just have such a good integration with all of these platforms here, and this is going to allow you to get into futures trading from a cash account a lot better, a lot faster. Robert Matthews, hey Johnny, if you're a new AMP user, I have a commission saving tip for you that I learned after months of overpaying. Well, we will look forward to that. So I'm going to bring over the AMP Live. So here on TradingView, you can kind of see how this is AMP Futures. So, or sorry, this is me using TradingView with AMP Futures, AMP Live here. I'm not going to open this up because it has my, account and stuff like that. But this is live now. You can see when it's not live. You can see paper trading, and things of that nature. But I was able to take a trade live. Robert Matthews, I definitely want to hear about your commission saving tip. Definitely. Jay Whitway, plus reasonable contract leverage. Yes. It's nothing. AMP Futures is nothing like prop firms where you are given a cheap account. You can over leverage 10 contracts for the cost of like $50. That is how you blow accounts. With this one, you choose how much you put in. I happen to put 4,000 in, and I use that as a risk parameter, right? So if I am putting 4,000 in, it costs about $100 per contract. So I trade 3 micro NASDAQ. It takes $100 per contract of margin. So if you subtract that, divide by 4 contracts, divide by 0.5, 50 cents per contract, and then divide that by 12.5. Oh wait, hold on. I messed that up. $4,000 minus 300 from the margin. You have to say, what's 2% of that? Because that's what I want to risk, right? Divide by 4 contracts, or 4 points, 4 ticks per point, 50 cents per point, and 12.5 handles. That gives me roughly around 3 contracts that I can use to risk 2% if I have a stop loss set at 12.5 handles, okay? So I can risk 3 micros on a $4,000 account. And that's exactly what I did here. So we're going to talk through this trade that we took during Asia session live, okay? Not live, but we're going to talk through it nevertheless. Let me see what I missed in chat. Robert, if you deposit or grow your account to 10K, you can call them up and request their fixed commission schedule. That saves you like 10 to 15% per contract. Okay. That's awesome, Robert. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me know about that. I will definitely call you up on that. The commissions aren't bad. It's like $2 round trip. So it's really not that bad. For scalpers, I think that only go for like 5 or 10 handles. at a time with size, I think that could be a little bit more cumbersome because the commissions can add up a lot. But yeah, that's a really good tip, Robert. I will keep that in mind for when I grow this to 10K. I appreciate that. Jonathan Sung says, how's the slippage? Are they messing around or straight to the exchanges? I think, when I entered limit here, because you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. You can kind of see, you can see where I entered limit. So you see the little red arrow show up down there when I hover over the sign. I was able to enter fine. No issues with it. Obviously I had to endure a bit of drawdown here. And let's see, 39, 24. So I had to endure about 15 handles of drawdown here because your stop loss is above the short-term high up here, above the midpoint of this wick here. But ultimately, I ended up taking profit at the first rejection block over here, 18,410. Then I took second profit here at this new week opening gap, right? And we barely got down to that initial sell side down here. And so I held that all throughout this. A few minutes later, what happens? We have our limit order set right at that initial sell side liquidity. So that's the third one there. So about 14, 20, and 35 some handles. Wait, am I doing that math right? Where's my calculator? 424 minus 388. 36 handles. Yeah, 36 handles. So this is straight up profit because you're in a live account, right? So that means $150 straight up profit. If I remove wire fees, I could withdraw $120 tomorrow. 4 p.m. I could get a wire straight to my account, and that would be in my account. So I love that about cash. You're forced to really, really pay attention to your risk parameters and work with your trade, This allows you to stop worrying about trailing drawdown. You do need to worry about using the smallest risk that you can in order, for your account size, right? So that's why I would recommend you put at least $2,000, something that can allow you to have 2 contracts or even just 1 contract. Look for a good trade there. Let me take a look at the chat real quick, see what I missed. Robert Matthews. So Jonathan Sung, hopefully that answered your question about slippage. I had no issues with it. None whatsoever. The fills were perfect. Robert Matthews, Johnson Sung, it's as good as any broker is likely to be. ICT is notoriously picky and critical, yet he all but endorsed AMP on his stream. Yes, that's true. He did. Jonathan Sung, I'll check it out. Thanks. Yeah, I have some friends that are doing gosh, what was the other one that my friend was using? I think it was Edge clearing. So there's a lot of different things that people can use. I think that if you are monitoring your trade, if you're not trading in high volatility environments, obviously if you're trading at an FP or something like that, you're going to get slippage. That's just the nature of it, right? So just if you're trading normally though, no big deal. Robert Matthews, yeah, once you start putting on size, ICT 10 to 15% does add up to a lot. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Robert Matthews, to answer your question directly from my own experience, I get more slippage from TradingView's paper trading than I do with AMP. Awesome. People try to be accountable and not talk about slippage, but it makes a world of a difference. The difference between sitting and drawdown for hours and days. I think it's if you market order, you're going to get a bit of slippage, but if you're on sides, it shouldn't matter. If you're really, really, really being very, very picky with your trades, then you shouldn't sit in it for more than unless you're sitting in Asia, then you can sit for a long time, so hours sometimes if you enter poorly. So, yeah, so this is again, this is a live trade. This was AMP Futures live. I'm not going to open this, obviously, for those that are here. MSD, what's up, man? Good to see you. How have you been? Hope you've been well. Yeah, so that was a trade that I took, and you can kind of see that I had marked this out. I came here around 6:30 is when I came in here, and this is all I could see on the chart, right? So I see our initial buy side liquidity is up here. We see our initial sell side liquidity is up here. I noticed, and this is where we're going to get into some theory here when I review this trade. So one thing that you want to check out is when you are seeking and watching price to see, will it break above and take initial buy side liquidity, or will it fall down and take the initial sell side liquidity during Asia session specifically? Okay. In this case, I saw that this was a 50% mark on the wick here. Now, I noticed what? We traded up to this wick at around 638. We traded up to this 75% mark, but then we failed there. So I took that failure because we fell below this short-term low. I saw that as a shift in state of delivery. And so I enter here. You can see that again. I entered at the low of this sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. I knew I could take drawdown since it's a 1 minute big. All these candles need to be considered, right? I knew I could take drawdown, but I was confident that it could not head higher than this, so I could keep my stop loss here. And if it was going to go above that, it was going to take out sell side, the initial buy side liquidity as well, right? So, I'm entered here. I have to eat all of this drawdown, but look at what happens here as well. So if I take this same concept where I'm grading the wicks here, and I'm looking to see, does price reach above this area, right? And you can clearly see that we did the same exact thing. We traded to 50% and then failed, and then 25% and then failed. So I kept on moving my stop to 50% to here. It never went up to there, right? If you take a look at this one here, this is like a hack. It's crazy. So you can kind of see it never went to the 50% mark. So my stop loss, which was here at 18,440, never got hit. And then we see at this one, the stop loss was moved to the 50% mark plus some. It never got hit. Again, what happens now? It's at almost 9 o'clock, right? Stop loss never gets hit there. So once 7 o'clock comes along, boom, 3 candles, and we make up all this movement here. And we take our first profit at what? What is this? Rejection block. Price could have just immediately, completely went higher. I didn't think it was, but it did. So we took first profit there. Second profit, we had a limit order at the high of the new week opening gap because we know price can be particularly sensitive there. What does it do? It trades to exactly that. Wicks higher, comes down a little bit, displaces higher, starts to trade lower, catches some people trying to aim for what? Initial sell side liquidity. So look what happens when we take out initial sell side liquidity that forms during the first 60 minutes, right? So we have this whole range here from this high to this low, all the way to the first hour. This is the initial opening range for Asia. So we look to see what happens now at that sell side liquidity being taken. So we see here, sell side got taken. What happens? Goes down a few ticks, immediately trades higher, and aims for what? Initial buy side liquidity. So this was a great trade. I think Robert took this one because that was the consequent encroachment as well of this gap. You can kind of see this consequent encroachment. That's what we traded to at the beginning of the day. We traded back to that, took out sell stops, and then we traded higher. So that was the technicals behind that trade. And as you can kind of see, we've reached for these relative equal highs up here. There's these relative equal highs up at 18,530. I think we're likely to reach to. But remember, I had mentioned that this 18,496 level was the area sell side imbalance that I was looking for us to reject from, and we did do exactly that. Jonathan Sung prefers swing trading. If it were up to me, I would have held the same NASDAQ long from the 30-minute chart on August 1st and still hold it. That's awesome. Yeah, I like August. Let me see what that was. August 1st. Okay. So over on our daily chart here, that's August 1st, this swing low here. That was a nice move here. I don't know if I would want to be swinging it the whole way down here, but I think some profits could have certainly been taken off around this 19,742 level. But hey, if you're still holding, you're still holding. Diamond hands, baby. Oh, 8.5. Yeah, 8.5 is a little bit better. Yeah, nice. MSD, thank you, man. Miss you. So happy to see you doing well. Yeah, dude. How are you doing too, MSD? Like, how have you been? Let me know how you've been how your trading journey's going. Very curious to see how you've been doing. Okay, let me know in the chat. Robert Matthews, Jonathan Sung, I'm very bullish on TLT, looking for it to reach 110. Okay, so he's trading the bond related TLT, I think. Robert Matthews, that's my swing trade for the quarter. Awesome. Jonathan Sung, sorry, Robert, I only trade NASDAQ. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Futures is fine. TLT is a very interesting instrument to trade during, especially like during, let me move this out of the way here. During times of like increased volatility as well. So that's the 20-year treasury bond. I think I think that's a 20-year treasury bond. I think if I recall correctly, but let's see, Jonathan Sung, but if you were in there from September onwards, then that's a gorgeous long September. I don't know if being in, oh, TLT. Okay, I see. 110. Let's take a look at TLT actually. See if I can duplicate this tab. Let's take a look at TLT. So we are done with the NASDAQ weekly prep. I already told you where we're planning on going. Let's take a look at TLT. All right, so on the daily, let me look at this from a monthly chart too. I need to get a sense of where we are on TLT. Okay. On the monthly chart, the high here was 100.57. High here is 100.78. So we just took out this high here. That, in my opinion, is going to be a monthly shift in state of delivery because we came down to this buy-side imbalance on the monthly chart and are trading higher now. Now, we could reject a little bit, maybe try to come down into these volume imbalances and this buy-side imbalance as well. But hard to say. Let me look at the weekly chart here. So on the weekly chart, yeah, we can kind of see that these all got taken out. All of these relative equal lows got taken out, and we created another short-term low here. So we're just creating more and more and more. Yeah, I don't trade this instrument as much, so I don't know how if it is meant to expand higher. I don't know if it's gonna continue higher, looking for these relative equal highs. But at some points, I think your target was 110. Yeah, I love that as relative equal highs. I do think that that will get taken out at some point. I just don't know when. Like, do we come back down to this weekly buy side imbalance? Do we leave it open? Maybe. There is a new week opening gap over there as well, so it does look like we left this short-term high. So I would venture to say, hey, is it possible to head down to 94.16? Yes. Will it do it? Well, if it's very bullish, it'll just leave this open here, and then we'll continue trading higher and higher and higher. We have to break out of this consolidation before I can tell. So yeah, tough one to say there, but definitely think that these relative equal highs will get taken at some point. So nice move. Excellent move there. Yep. And so, yeah, there's so definitely wanted to run through one of the trades I took live. And so this means that I'm going to be able to take, so let's talk prop firms versus real account now. So in this prop firm, I can take out $150 tomorrow if I wanted to, right? How many people are still paying Apex or My Funded Futures or FTT or, whatever? You're paying that amount for a bit of leverage, which is great. I still have Apex accounts myself. I plan on trading those as well. But from a making ends meet perspective, I want to leverage the cash account, take care of weekly expenses, take care of something simple first, right? Make sure I can get to that a week. If I could make about 1,000 a week, I think that would more than take care of like everything. I mean, shoot, even if I could make 500 a week, maybe even less than that, maybe 400 a week, I could cover groceries and gas and electricity and stuff like that. So on the cash account, I want to get to the point where I can handle that much and then start to withdraw that each month. So that's the goal, is leveraging a cash account, which you can see. If I were to take this, I would have been very strict with my stop losses and gotten stopped out on my bigger trailing drawdown accounts at Apex, right? But with 2% risk on a overall account, I was okay. If it was going to take this out, I was going to let it take it out and then look for a short around there, look for a turtle soup short, because we had not taken out that initial buy side liquidity or sell side liquidity yet. So either way, 2% risk, very feasible, very doable. You can make ends meet with a couple $1,000s in funding, and that's something that you could easily pick apart from Apex, right? Like, you can withdraw a lot from Apex. Right now, looks like they logged me out of Apex here, but yeah, I'm looking forward to, let's see, where am I here? I need about $3,000 more before my first payout on the 300K accounts. And I could take the maximum from there and keep on trading it, right? So I can't wait to do that on the Apex accounts and have a whole bunch of the accounts above the area where I can take profit from them. So I still plan on copy trading those, although what I've been doing lately is copy trading the accounts that are in question, like the ones that are in severe drawdown. I use 1 micro for them and I aim for 30 handles. And if I can get that, I should be able to bring them back in no time. But I'm not sure I'm going to be able to trade as much this week because I have so many meetings. So it makes it really difficult when you have a 9 to 5 to trade. I can either only trade during Asia. Thankfully, my wife allows me to do this, but I can only trade during Asia and the early morning, like 7 to 9 a.m. Not even then. When I have to go in the office, I can't trade that because I have to leave for work by like 7:30, 8 o'clock, right? So very, very tough to do that. So let's see. Jonathan Sung, very doable. Might range a little bit first. Okay, Jonathan Sung agrees on the TLT trade. Yeah. Robert Mathers, don't forget the Fed will lower rates soon. That should be bullish for TLT. Yes. I really like that play, Robert. the play where you have dollar probably lowering when you have like interest rates that go down, the dollar index generally goes down as well, which is good for the bond market and that's good for TLT. So yeah, I like that 110 target, Robert. That's a really good swing, I think. I think that a lot of people are expecting the rate cuts to allow us to increase, and that's why we're seeing that rate cut being priced in. So I think that this whole sell-off here, I feel like it's being priced in for for Nasdaq. I really do think it's being priced in right now. But you never know what could happen, right? So Robert Mathers says, Johnny, it's beautiful to have your own cash account, but it requires 10x more discipline. In theory, you're not supposed to think about the money aspect, but it feels real when it's yours. Yeah, I understand that. I'm getting to the point where I really don't care about the money. If I'm going in, the only things I care about are what's the size of the account, what is the percentage risk that I'm risking at any given time. I have set stop losses and take profit targets, but I change those based on what I see in the charts at that time, right? So if I only see 20, 30 handles, I'll take it. If I see 40, 50, 60 handles, I'll leave runners, right? And I can do that with the live account. Like if I see another level that it could go down to, I could definitely see me holding for that too. It's gonna be easier actually because I got so desensitized to seeing price, and I switched all my indicators. I switched them to see handles only, so that I can stop focusing on the money, right? I do look at the money too, obviously, but if it's a good trade, that is more fun for me instead. Like if it's a really good trade, I prefer that instead. And I actually like going to the cash account. Like going into the cash account, it's live. You need to have good risk management. You need to know what your setup looks like. You need to know and do your due diligence ahead of time to know what you're looking for. And when it comes, you execute on it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You look for the next trade. The next trade is always the most important trade. If your trade didn't work out, okay, is the setup still valid? If yes, take your trade again. If no, look for the next trade. Simple as that, right? But it's hard if you haven't had enough time on the charts practicing, looking for things to happen, documenting it, journaling about it, taking screenshots about it, and then studying it again and again and again. If you haven't done that, it's so much more tough. Robert Matthews, I still haven't mastered being completely impartial, so I still feel losses and wins more than ICT says I should. The only way to do that, honestly, Robert, like I went through some time. So as you all know, I went through some drawdown tilt time. I was up, $1,500 on the longest standing 50K account that I had. One day that ghost orders, and it was a day that I had tons of meetings, which I knew I shouldn't have traded. I had ghost orders open after I closed 2 micro contracts. Didn't see them until they had dropped the account like $400 or $500. I got so tilted that day, and I had also passed a couple of 300Ks, full porting 35 contracts. Just, it's an evaluation. It's again, like I tell you in the earlier videos, how to pass evaluation accounts quickly. Full porting is totally fine if your bankroll allows for it. Do I recommend it to most traders? No. But if you have a firm enough bankroll, if you know how to trade and what you're looking for, why not try to pass the evaluations as quickly as you can? You will blow some accounts, so you need to understand there's risk involved with that. If you want to take the safe route, don't do that. Just take your, 2, 4, 6% risk and try to pass it step by step. You'll still get there. They have 1-day passes if you need it, but you can also pass within the month. Even if you don't pass in the month, you can pass next month. Plenty of time. So I love these live accounts. I think that everybody should get there as quickly as they have $2,000, $3,000 saved up. It's worth opening one. primarily because it forces you to become a great, great, great risk manager. Jonathan Sung, the only thing I like about prop firms is the access to greater drawdown. Frankly, the evaluations are a bit of a time waster. If you have X number of funded accounts, they should just understand and let you buy the funded instead. Yeah, that would be nice, but again, you have to remember they're a business model, right? So I have 10 accounts with Apex. I've got like, over 2 million in funding with Apex. It doesn't mean squat, right? Like I could care less. Where is the money? Is the money coming out of the bank, right? So I agree. It'd be nice. There's other firms that send you straight to the PA, the performance account. I'll go get that link and post that when I see it. But yeah, I mean, totally understand that theory, and you can't, copy trade multiple accounts when you're playing with one live account. It's just however much cash you have in the account is. It's the same as when you move to a live account. If you have 10 performance accounts and you eventually are a great trader, they move you to live. They force you essentially to combine all that leverage into one live account, and then you trade that with a risk manager. You have a risk manager limiting your daily loss limits, and you talk with them and develop a relationship with them. So they do the same exact thing. You eventually will need to learn how to trade out of a live cash account. 2,000 is the minimum I would recommend, because you have to trade one contract to basically risk 2%, right? So 3,000, 4,000, you can start to trade two to three micros. 4,000, I think 3 micros is like the maximum for 2% risk. MSD, I was studying the concepts and more studying about myself, backtesting on my model, Market Maker X model, the time. Yes, you learn. I'm so happy to see my result. Yeah, MSD, you learn a lot about yourself on this. Let me see what's happening with our charts here. I want to make sure I have that on our charts. So we're reaching up towards that 18,533. I do think we're going to take that out if we continue to creep upwards. So I agree, MSD. You learn a lot about yourself when you are going through and really like paying attention to and journaling about, hey, this is what I saw. This is how it behaved. This is how price behaved today. I was expecting it to go here, but it ended up going there. Looking back, here's why I think it went up there. I see that now, and I look forward to taking that trade again in the future. Having tons and tons and tons of that in your journal helps you as you review it each weekend. Go back and review your notes. Go back and review your charts. Go back and through all the lipstick that you put on your charts. Like, go review what happened there, right? Let me get rid of the executions there so it's cleaner. So yeah, you learn a lot about yourself, MSD. I completely agree. And yeah, like Robert says, congrats. Good to see others getting closer to their goals. Yeah, bit by bit, just little by little, right? 2% risk is all you need to become a profitable trader. Top Step dropped their daily loss limit. Oh, so they made it lower, Jay Whitway? Like, so easier to not blow the accounts? Is that what you mean, Jay Whitway? Top Step pays out, man. Like, I know so many people that love Top Step because once you get past their trailing drawdown, they pay out like quickly. A few days at a time, I think. Jonathan Sung, when people say psychology is important to me, this means both internal and external psychology. Internals are the things that I can control. Externals are the market's mind games. I like that, Jonathan. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. The internals, once you can conquer yourself, you can conquer the externals quite quickly with what ICT teaches you. You have the technical skills. That's the easier one. The internal ones, the ones that you don't pay a lot of attention to day to day, they're subconscious. They're harder if they're habits. If they're bad habits that formed, they will come out in your trading. And so they're worthwhile to invest time on. I completely agree. MSD, thank you, Robert. Happy to be part of ICT students, second family. Yeah, happy to be here as well. Robert Matthews, good thing trading with AMP is you don't have to deal with a third-party risk manager. You're your own risk manager. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good thing. You want to be your own risk manager. You want to have that skill for the future. It's going to help you in all walks of life, everywhere in life. You can think about things in a logical manner. Um, Jonathan says not just big money retail, it's not just big money in retail. Big money's competing against each other as well. Yep. Jay Whitway, feel the same. Second family trading can get lonely as far as conversation and understanding. Yeah, I agree. But it's good that we all have that. It's great to see people learn. It's tough to see when people fall, but we understand if you're meant to be a trader, you're gonna keep on getting up. Just like when you're a kid trying to learn how to ride a bicycle, you're gonna fall, but you want to learn how to ride a bicycle so badly that you're gonna adjust each and every time, and eventually you're gonna sail. That's inevitably you will be successful in this if you keep on trying. But you need to be really careful to understand yourself and understand risk. Be a great risk manager and understand yourself. Jonathan, just yin yang everything. Haven't taken a day of ICT lessons in my life. Hey, that's awesome, dude. I love seeing traders that don't trade ICT because I think that's great. Like I've incorporated some things, from others that are in various trading groups that I'm in as well. Successful traders that don't trade ICT at all. I have some people that trade order flow, TPO, initial balance, lots of things that you can get in with as long as you're like really, really good with what you study. That's all that matters, right? If you can read price action, you can read price action. Jay Whitway, it's easier to blow an account. Oh, I see. That sucks, man. You can set your own limits though to lock you out for the day after a loss or a win. I see. Man, that sucks, dude. I mean, Top Step, didn't they just lose like 15 grand or something, or 5 grand on live stream or something? And yet they had to pay out like Lanto, or I forget who else. Maybe it was Kane. I can't remember, but they had to pay somebody out. Dip Bao, trading it was never about the money. Yep, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Robert Matthews, do you think ICT can beat Larry Williams' record in 3 months? Yeah, absolutely. I think he can. So let's say he starts with 10,000, right? Actually, this calculator is not going to do it probably, but times 11,000,000. Sorry, that's wrong. He's probably not starting with $10,000 to be fair, but I think it's like what, 11,000% times 11,000%. So it'd have to be like he'd have to start with something ridiculously small, right? Because hold on, let me check. What is Larry Williams' record? Robbins Cup. Okay, I see. So Larry Williams took 10,000 to over 1 million. That doesn't make any sense. Hold on. What did Larry Williams start with when he got 11,000%? $10,000 in 1 year. Okay. Oh, okay. That was a different one. Larry Williams record. Trading record. Most prestigious. So it was 12 months, 1.1 million divided by 10,000. So 110 times. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I was because like 100% is times 1, so 11,000% would be 110. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, I was just wigging out on the math there. so so all you'd have to do is be able to consistently compound that. If he starts with 10,000, great. He's going to be able to do that very, very, very quickly. You've seen how you can run up accounts quite quickly, right? Now that happens exponentially. I think he's going to do it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think Michael's going to do it. But if he doesn't, then fine. Like, but it's just like, what a fantastic way to, like if he does that, there's going to be no question anywhere in the world. There's going to be no question, right? So, oh, he is starting off with 10K. Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah, that starts about right. Um, I don't know if he's still like jawboning on Twitter or not, but let me see, what is he still? Yeah, it looks like he was still replying back to people. Oh, there are a lot of people trolling him, basically. And it looks like Patrick Wieland. Looks like Patrick Wieland is trying to not escrow 500K. Yeah, it doesn't even look. It looks like now he's trying to like put 50K into a live account, so he doesn't even have his 500K that he said he would put into escrow. Patrick just said he doesn't have 500K to put into the escrow, so he was probably just messing around. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I think that it's gonna be a very, very interesting end of the year. That's for sure. Let's see, Jonathan Sung, why not just post a regular P&L or something else and shut people up? That's the main criticism. That's the only time he traded live. He lost every trade. I think that people will believe that it works, or people will believe that it doesn't work. I know this stuff works. I've seen it work. I haven't seen one person explain it better. He's the only one out there doing it, and he's helping a lot of people. But a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on these concepts, right? So, yeah. Even if he doesn't do it, like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I know these concepts work. I've been able to showcase and do it systematically. So, just a matter of time. Jay Whitway had PW. Yeah. Had Patrick going off today. Yeah, it was really entertaining. I think that Patrick's an entertainer. I think ICT has a great time connecting because that gets engagement, right? So I think it's fantastic. I don't, I have zero emotional attachment to either of them. I just respect Michael because he put so much out there that completely 180'd how I look at markets and how I think about markets. So I'm definitely blessed and grateful for what he's put out there, just because no one else could really understand and state the why behind why markets move the way they do, and I can see it firsthand. So let's see. And buy his book. I'm gonna be buying his book. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's like the only book that I'm really interested in reading. I don't really care. Like, I don't think I need it. I'm not gonna read it to get insights. I'm gonna read it leisurely, like when I'm on vacation or something like that, Jonathan Sung, the only thing I like about him is that because he's organized and rebranded so many concepts, a new trader doesn't have to go to different places for the information. But frankly, I find something. It's free material, so that's good. He's not charging money for it. What's already known. Yeah, I mean, hey, he says if you can find proof that people came up with his concepts before, what was it, like 1970 something, then he'll pay out a 1 million bounty, but doesn't sound like anyone's actually heard of it yet or showed it and collected. So, again, like I could care less. People can go try and collect it or not. People can bitch about, like, complain that it's rebranded concepts. I could care less. Doesn't really matter to me. Robert Matthews, I'm going to buy 2 copies, one to mark up and the second to keep as a collector's item. Yeah, that's a good idea. Very cool. All right, so unfortunately, this has been fun hanging out, but I actually got to get going. I have to get to sleep, get prepared for tomorrow. I have work, so I'm not going to be trading live. I'm just going to slowly build, but I'll try to keep coming on the Sunday preps, but I'll try to continue, like, talking and hitting up YouTube comments throughout the week. So stay safe trading this week, FOMC next week, get prepped for that. And then continue forward and just get some good trading this week. Okay. So, hope you all have a wonderfully productive week and positive cash flow week. And, yeah, great getting a chance to hang out with you all again. I hope this was valuable. Great to see you all, and I'll look forward to seeing you again. I'll keep you posted if I can stream one of these days, but I'd much rather, focus just on, like, consistently building the account and getting to the point where I can do this full time. Someday, who knows when that will be, but it would be fun though. Yeah. Anyways, thanks a lot. Infinitely, good to see you. I didn't realize you were here, so good to see you all. MSD, Jay Whitway, Jonathan, Robert. Yeah, really good seeing you all here. And yeah, have a great evening. We'll catch up soon, okay? Take care, y'all. Good nights.